me Delight from A Happy Wife, Delightful Life, and today we're going to be tackling my mess. I keep most of my house, excuse me, most of it is pretty organized, and this area, if you looks organized, it is a deception. Because there is a mess lurking hidden on my desk. Hang on, let me turn this camera around and show you. It's gonna take more than one video to tackle this whole thing, but I'm determined to get it done. Alright, so here we go. This is my mess. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see it all. Get it all in. This is my little office space. And it's kind of a mess. It's deceiving because parts of it look not messy, and then there's my desk. And it's a mess. And then if you go under my desk, it's a mess as well. Oh my goodness, I have so much junk. Why do I do this to myself? Look at all my clutter. You get up close and personal here on my desk. So I have some of the crystals that I use all the time, some essential oils that I haven't put away, this bottle. This one has some jojoba oil that I use on my hands because they get really dry. Then we have some jewelry that I haven't put away, some crystals that I haven't put away, some jewelry making tools that I haven't put away, and more crystals that I haven't put away. And then go down a level, and we have some craft supplies that I haven't put away, a banner that I need to hang up, that red box is flattening some scrapbooking papers. I'm in the process of labeling these little, show this somewhere else. These bins hold all of my crystals, and like these ones have some labels on them, so I can make quick work of my grids. And I know where I'm putting things back when I'm done. So I'm in the process of labeling the couple of other ones that I have here that haven't been labeled yet. This is a pile of things that I need to put away. My goodness gracious, I am a hot mess here. Things just get piled up and don't get put away. This is a stack of papers that I use in the bottom of the garbage can, but I don't need this many, so I can really just get rid of some of them. This is my wire box here. I do use regularly, so I keep it out, but I really need to just organize this area. This is stuff that gets donated. Another donation in there. And then the rest of this bag is some knitting that I've been working on. This is a package that needs to go, be returned. And this is random stuff that, some of it's from my eBay shop. This is decor I just picked up for 4th of July. eBay stuff. more rocks that, you know, I have rocks everywhere. eBay stuff, eBay stuff, eBay stuff, eBay stuff. Just basically lack of organization here. So today I'm not going to tackle all of this, but we're going to come over here to my very messy desk, and these are the labels. So I'm going to I have a few more that I need to make. I'm using my Brother P-Touch, and I will link it in the description box. I really like it. I think I got it on Amazon. It works really, really well, and I like it a lot. So let me get this camera set up, and yeah, I'm gonna put the camera up, and then we're gonna make some labels and label these boxes, and then as you can see, I've got quite a bit of work to do in this area, so it's gonna be a few videos if you want to join me. And then there's another space in my house that is probably worse than this. It's a closet. Well, it's a laundry room, but I don't have a washer and dryer in there. I just have stuff in there. And that's another thing I need to get organized. So let's start on organizing these boxes, and then we'll eventually get to the rest of it. Alright, so here we are with the labels and the box. And that's upside down. So if you can see that if you print out the label by itself, it has a huge amount of wasted tape. Like, it will put that on both sides of the tape. So by printing out a bunch of them on one tape, I can kind of minimize the waste and get more labels per tape. And then I just take my little scissors and snip them. Just have to make sure that I get, like, this is all one word, so I don't want to snip it in the middle. My biggest, like, anxiety is that I'm gonna move and drop this whole thing on the floor all the time. Not like I wouldn't know where everything goes, because I'm used to taking all of these out and putting them all back in. I use them for grids. That's why there's so many of each type of stone. Like, each little compartment has the same stone, and some of them are empty because I've used them in a grid and they are currently on that grid, and this one has like some random stones that I don't have enough of one type to put it in its own little container. So yeah, that's why. And I have quite a few crystals, and if you want to see what I do with them, I actually have another channel that is dedicated just to crystals and Reiki healing, which is what I do in my spare time. So this is one whole thing. That is this one. Golden Tourmaline quartz. It has, I don't know if you can see it. Let me find one that's a little bit more clear. Actually, I have a cabochon that might be easier to see of this one. If I find a piece of white paper, I can stick behind it so you can see what I'm talking about. You see those little golden, like, threads in the quartz? Those are tourmaline threads, and it's golden tourmaline, and there's also a black tourmaline quartz that I also have. It's a really big one. Hang on, I'll grab it. This one is on my crystal wall, but that is black tourmaline quartz. You can kind of see the black bars in there, and that has this stone right here. This is black tourmaline by itself. So this is a clear crystal like this one, but with this stone like integrated into it, and it does that naturally. It's not fabricated, like nobody put that in there. It grows that way naturally. That's why I love crystals. They're so fascinating. But if you want to know, as this is not really my crystal channel, and if you want to know more about crystals, you can visit my other channel and learn all about the crystals there. If you're wondering why my hands shake, let me hold something. It used to be a lot worse. I'm actually going to have a video about it. I have what is called essential tremors, and it's a genetic thing, and they used to shake really bad. Now I've found a supplement that helps it, so you'll see, like, when I'm doing random things and my hands will shake. It's not Parkinson's or too much caffeine, because I don't drink caffeine, but yeah, it's the genetic thing that I have, and I've been taking a supplement that helps stop it, and I actually recorded video. It's been a couple of years since I started taking it, and the change is absolutely amazing, and I will be making a video about that, because I did a lot of research and experimenting on myself to help it, and the difference is just so amazing. And if you have that, you know it can be an incredibly, I wouldn't say debilitating, because it's, I mean, it eventually can, if it gets really bad, like it can get like that kind of shaking, and it's hard to eat for people, and, you know, do things that they normally would do. But, yeah, I'll be making a video about that and show you. So now, moving on. Sometimes I put them inside the box, but this one has these little divider doodads, so the sticker won't really lay well in there. So I'm going to put these ones on the outside, on the top. So this is the golden tourmaline quartz, so I'm going to chop this guy up, because it's going to be too big to go all on one bit. And then the back has like it's split in the middle, so you just bend it a little bit and it pops open the little bits there. To put them in order. Alright, now we do this a whole bunch more times. It feels like Sesame Street. It's like, which one is which? And I want to say that I'm going to throw these little bits away. And the hoarder in me says, don't do it. They need to be used. Guys, I am like, I have really bad hoarder tendencies, as you can tell from my space. It just is not laziness or, you know, let's put these in the trash right now. There's my garbage. Goodbye. I promise I won't take them out later. I'm not that bad. I've gotten better. Before, I wouldn't have even put them in the trash. I would have just left them right where they were, right there, and said, I will use those later, but we're not going to do that. Alright. Let me lay these out where they go. I think my main problem is that I can put this one here because it's actually, this whole thing is different sizes of black tourmaline. My biggest problem is that I don't know if you've ever watched Clutterbug, but she's pretty cool. I'll link her videos. One of the ones describing what I'm talking about anyway. She's got a lot of videos, so I don't think I could actually link them all. My biggest issue is that I am a B in my organizing style, and so I get really caught up in micro organization, which, as you know, can be really tedious, and I am also a recovering perfectionist, so I always felt like if I couldn't do it absolutely perfectly, I would get so anxious and fearful that I would basically freeze up and not end up doing it at all. And I've kind of want to say that I've learned good enough living so that I can at least get some things done. You know, I still fuss over things, but I don't do it as much as I used to. But yeah, a B organization style. These little things with their they're all staticky, so they're driving me crazy because they're sticking to my fingers. But the B organizing style is like a micro category organizer, and I like things to be displayed as well. It's like I just can't win. So I will get to the point where I will just, as you can see, I will leave things out so I don't end up forgetting about them. And because I tend to go so crazy with some of you OCDers, I'm sorry. Let's put them all in the same direction at least. If you have OCD, I'm sorry. This is probably going to make you crazy. My scissors. Let's cut this guy apart. Yeah, if I can't make it perfect, then I just have a tendency to not do it, or I leave it for when I can make it perfect, which sometimes doesn't ever happen. Let's cut this one as well. Let's see, does this one fit? I think it will. If we cut it apart, it will fit. So yeah, that's part of my problem, is I get so caught up in flew away. Oops, sorry. I get so caught up in the details that I lose sight of the bigger picture. And then I just get overwhelmed and shut down. And I used to have a really, 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 extremely, can I point out any more, that I had an incredibly messy, disgusting house for many years, because now I'm getting my OCDs going on. Because I would get overwhelmed in my space, and then I would just shut down and nothing would get done, and I would ignore it. And I feel like I'm not a therapist, but I feel like this is how most people end up in a hoarded house. It's a combination of not being able to let things go for whatever reason they're, having mental issues about the stuff that they have. Usually it's trauma of some sort that they haven't dealt with, because I had it myself, and it's hard sometimes to let go of things when you have attachment issues. So it's partly attachment issues, it's partly becoming overwhelmed because the space is so crowded, and then it just compiles on top of that, and you just get paralyzed basically in stuck where you are, and it feels very overwhelming, and it feels very desolate and impossible. Like, sometimes I look at the space and I think that I just cannot, it's impossible. I'm just not going to be able to get it clean, and it's useless and pointless because, it's just going to end up the same way again. So, it feels very hopeless. And if you can pull yourself out of that situation by saying, let's tackle one thing at a time, and by allowing it to not have to be perfect, to letting it be good enough, then you can make a lot of progress. And it was a process. It's taken me years to get where I am. The thing to remember is just to not give up, to keep moving, because the only way that you truly fail is by not doing, by giving up, by giving in to desolation. So, if you can keep yourself motivated, even if it takes, I've lived in this space has looked like this since I moved in here, and that was last July, and it is now May of I moved in July of 2021, and it is May of 2022. So it's been almost a year, and it's gone from being more cluttered and less, like I've, managed to do little bits here and there, but it's not gotten to where I actually want it to be. And that's my end goal, is to make it look like a lot better, a lot more organized. And a lot of it is, I know I have to get rid of things. And I know I have to declutter. And if you had seen, I think I took some pictures in my, like when I first started decluttering, I think I have some pictures of like kind of what I've gotten rid of, like how much stuff I used to have, like what I used to have to contend with. And I'll put some of them on the screen if I find them. Our apartment that we moved into in Portland was literally, what's that? I still have one more label I have to grab. And then I have another box. Sorry about that. Excuse my reach, I should say. But I literally, the first time we moved in Portland, before I decluttered a lot of things, like when I was still working on my mental health and I was still in the throes of hoarding, I literally I rented, when we moved into that apartment in Portland, and it was a 600 square foot apartment, I literally had to get I think I got it was the biggest size I could get for the price, and I think it was I want to say it was the 26 foot truck from U-Haul. And then it took me one trip with that and I filled it. And then I had to go back and get the van, the U-Haul van, and I filled that up with stuff. And it was going into a 600 square foot apartment. If you can imagine, it was not fun. But I managed to go through, because I promised my husband, okay, so this is our finished product. This, like I said, this one has random stones, so once I find a home for them, I'll probably add another, because I have literally hundreds of crystals. Alright, let's move on to this guy. This one doesn't have as many. There are some that I'm using right now, so, but then like all of these are empty, so I have some room to grow in this one. And trust me, it will grow. These ones have smooth insides, but because these ones are so tiny, I think I'm still going to put, let me think, do I want to put it on top, or I think some of them I'll put on decisions. Goodness gracious. I think I'll put them on the inside, I think. Except for these little ones, I'll probably put on the outside and just turn it sideways. I already have one that looks like that. Let me show you what that one looks like. This is the same kind of box. So you can see it has some of the labels on the outside, and some of them are on the inside. So I think I'll do it like that, because this is the same box, basically. But anyway, what was I talking about? I don't know anymore. Oh, all the stuff. I promised my husband that I was going, and myself, mostly myself, that I was not going to do that to myself anymore. that I was going to make a serious effort to make a change and be a better version of myself and to let go of things. And it didn't happen overnight. It was a huge process. I think it took me a good 2 years of doing a lot of self-work and dealing with my attachment issues before I could get to the point that I could let go of a lot of the things that I needed to let go of. And then when I started, it just felt so good that I wanted to keep going. And I managed to there's another. Where did my other labels go? But yeah, I realized that I had to keep going. And the only time that I failed is when I stopped. And I do have some things. Where in the world did I put the other set of labels? I know I printed it. Hang on. I am beginning to think that I didn't even print it out. I was like looking everywhere for it. And I'm pretty sure I didn't even bother printing it. Yeah, I don't think I did because there was only 2. Duh, I was like tearing the space apart. See, that's why I need to be more organized. Let's see, angel wing selenite and goldstone. Oh yeah, that was what I did. I was trying to find the name of this little guy, and I put the thing aside and forgot completely what I was doing. So, duh. These are just fascinating though. So this is the and I forgot again what the name of this guy is. I think I have it written down over here. Hang on. I have one of them written down. Let's see if I wrote down the others. I have stromatolite, tolites written down. Sometimes I kind of organize myself, and sometimes I fail, but that's okay. Crinoids. Can't see that. Crinoids. I mean, you get to see my horrible handwriting. So yeah, okay. We can put that on here then. Crinoids. So I wasn't losing my mind. I am just silly. Okay, so the little plant, or what I thought was a plant fossil, is actually called a crinoid, and I'm probably not saying that right. Feel free to correct me if you'd like. But it was actually an organism that was more like a starfish, but on a stem. But yeah, it's fascinating. I love fossils. I have a whole bunch of them. This one is called a stromalite, I believe. And this is, of course, a ammonite. I had to think about it for a minute. Anyway, back to labeling before I get distracted. And I got distracted, like usual. Oh, what else do we want to put in here? anyway, what was I talking about? My hoarding issues. When I moved, I didn't want to be the same. And so I went through a lot of my stuff and I got rid of like literally so many boxes of things that I was just holding on to for no good reason. And I made a lot of progress. I probably at least got rid of, I would say 50% at least that first time. I started watching people on YouTube, minimalist folks. I don't know that I'll ever be a true minimalist, but it was like I will be a good enough minimalist if that can be a thing. I got rid of enough stuff that I feel good about my progress, and I feel good about where I am with like the amount of stuff that I have. And then I know that I still have room to keep decluttering. And when we left Oregon, I did leave a lot of stuff at my son's house that I need to deal with, because it's not fair of me to leave that on him, you know, making it his problem. So I need to go. Some of it is stuff that I still want to keep, so I need to go and get it and bring it here. And I brought some of it with me when I visited them in March. It's all a process, and just be gentle with yourself and know your limits. Set limits with yourself. Don't be like super hard on yourself, you know. Trauma is a strange thing. It makes us believe certain things, and we get stuck in places, and yeah, it's just it's crazy. But you can overcome it, and you can make your life so much better if you want to. You don't have to. You can stay the way you are. But I guarantee I was there. I was in that mess. I was in that desperate feeling of never going to be able to have a normal life and be able to invite people over to my house, because it was terrible, and I got past it. Just switch these guys. And I made a lot of progress, and I worked through a lot of issues. And I've still got a lot of work to do, and I'm getting there. And I know that I'm getting there. So yeah, you can do it. I believe in you. and I believe in me. And I know I will get through all of this clutter and get it cleaned up and get it looking good and feeling better. Because really, when you have an uncluttered space, your mind really does feel so much better. And I know that this has been affecting me mentally, you know, just seeing this mess. I mean, I work in this space every day, like all day when I'm working, because I work 10-hour shifts, and so I am in this space for usually 10 or more hours, because I usually hang out here, and you know, after work I'll be watching videos or whatever. So this is like what I see all day long. And it really does have a very strong effect on our mental health to see clutter day in and day out. So, making these positive changes it's only going to help. It's only going to contribute to feeling better and being better. That's part of why I made this channel. My crystal channel, I had tried to make like a self-help, but I went about it wrong, and I don't know, it just felt kind of preachy to me, and that's not what I'm about. I want people to see the good that the changes can bring, and then if they want to, or if you want to do that, you can see how it's helped me, and make that decision for yourself instead of, I mean, there's enough people out there doing those kind of channels, and I didn't need to make another one because they are doing way better than mine ever could be. All I can do is take the practical skills that I've learned and show how I use them and how they've improved my life. Because I feel like that's really the best way of promoting change for people, is by showing that, see, the perfectionist in me wants to go and peel this off and fix this little corner right here. See how it kind of got bent over? But you know what? I think I might leave it, because I don't know if it'll stick if I peel it off. I don't know. Am I going to leave it? Can I leave it? I don't know. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it. It's going to stay there. It's going to stay there. It's fine. It wants to live that way. I really want to show that life can be improved with small changes, and that it's possible to be a complete hot mess and be better if you want to be, or you can stay a hot mess. The only thing I suggest with, or I guess my pet peeve with people who are a hot mess, is if you're going to be one, here's the thing. Everybody who is a hot mess, and I'm sure you know this person, and you might be this person if you can get honest with yourself, I know I was, is that you want to be the hot mess, and you also want people to accept your hot mess. And that is where we tend to go wrong, because it's not their job. Nobody's job, nobody in the world's job, to accept your hot mess self, except for you. So there's the finished product. So it looks better, I think, than being on the side and here. So I can still see everything at a glance from the top, but then this isn't lost in here and looking silly. So, what do you think? Anyway, yeah, we have to accept. Let me switch back to a front view because I'm done with this. Oh, here, let me show you where these are going. Let me get this out of my tripod. Sorry about all the jiggling. Squeezing. There we go. Okay. So this now is going to go back in this cabinet where it lives with all of its friends. All of these boxes have crystals in them. The two bottom ones have beads, but they're still crystals, but they're beads that they use for jewelry. And then these two guys, this one has chainmail making stuff, and this one has jewelry findings. Let me open it so you can actually see what's in here. Just jewelry finding, head pins and things like that. Jump rings, closures, earring hooks, some silver stuff that I'm gonna make turquoise jewelry because I have real genuine turquoise that I want to make some jewelry with. I was gonna make a jewelry making video or station as well, but there's enough of those out there as well, and I'm not that great at it, so I left it to somebody else to do. Okay, let me turn myself back around here. Alright, so what I was saying about being a hot mess is, yeah, if you want to be a hot mess, be that by all means, but you can't, okay, you can expect everybody to deal with that, but it's not really fair if you think about it. It's not fair to them to have to put up with you being a hot mess. I see a lot. It's one of my, I try not to have pet peeves, but it is one of my big pet peeves online is seeing a lot of memes, and I'll pop some up here on the screen. People saying that, accept my whatever ickiness that they have going on. And that's not really the responsibility of somebody else, especially somebody that you love, to have to be subjected to your garbage, basically. I had a lot of garbage going on when I was healing. I had a lot of things that I picked up from my past, manipulation, and all of that garbage, basically. And when I got better, when I started becoming conscious of what I was doing, I pay attention to it now, and if I notice that I am becoming not nice or becoming manipulative or not being conscious, if I'm slipping in any way, I try to stop and bring myself back to where I want to be. And that's where I personally want to be. I want to be the best person that I can possibly be, and that may not be your journey, and that's fine. But again, I see a lot of people causing themselves pain, and the only reason I even talk about it is because to have the mentality that somebody else needs to deal with your garbage is causing you pain, and it's causing them pain because it's not their responsibility, it's yours. And taking responsibility for our own garbage, cleaning it up and dealing with it is the best way to heal. And you know, understanding that it is not anybody else's responsibility but my own. Can I accept help? Yes. Is it their responsibility? No. It's mine. And I'm the one who has to fix it. I'm the only one who can fix it. I appreciate people when they want to help me and when they want to listen, but ultimately it's my own mess that I have to clean up, just like this mess that I am dealing with here. I made this mess. This is my mess. This is my stuff. And I am the only one who can deal with it. And I am the only one who is responsible for it. If you want to come along on the journey with me while I clean it up, yay! If you don't, then you don't have to watch any of my videos about it. And that's kind of how life works, you know. If somebody wants to listen to your garbage and, you know, be there while you clean it up, that's cool. But it's not their job to clean it up, it's yours. Deep messages. Anyway, I think this video is long enough. I did the thing. It's a start. It's not even the tip of the iceberg with what I need to do in the space. But it was something that I've been meaning to do for a long time. And as I've said, with the honeybee type of organizational style, I tend to get really focused on micro organization, and it's my downfall because then everything just sits here and I go, I'll deal with that when I can get this better thing or this different system or this box or container or whatever. They're just excuses, really, if I'm honest with myself. So yeah, I'm looking around at my my mess. Anyway, thanks for joining me on cleaning up my stuff and organizing my crystals. And I'll be back in a few days, and we'll tackle another portion of this messy office space, which isn't really an office space. It's kind of the dining room. It's right off the kitchen. It's not a big apartment, but I make it work. I like it. Alright, well, thank you for joining me, and I will see you later. Peace out.